The question today is, should I have a coach and what can I expect from a coach? Uh, the idea is, or the reason for today is because I had a situation where I'm working with someone as their coach. We're on a trial basis. It's not something I do a lot of, but I was in a group and I was participating, and this person sought me out to ask for help. And today was their second coaching. And before our first coaching ended last Friday, she had some, if you will, some homework. And one of the things she wants to do, she's a real estate agent, and she wants to use her or build her personal brand using content to get more customers. And because that's what I've been doing for 14 plus years is making content, probably closer to 20 years making content, she sought me out and asked if I could help. I explained to her, hey, this is not something I do. That's really not my business model. And because of the relationship that was going on in the group that we were both in, I said, sure, let's try it. Let's try it for a month and see how it works out. And then we'll renew after a month. She was good with that. So anyway, so the first Friday we had last week, the goal was to set up a platform where she could do live streams and also do create videos that then she could post later on. And, she was going to probably use YouTube as her main platform. So most of the videos would be shorts in a vertical, like a portrait, or she would have some widescreen because, again, she's a real estate and she might be out in the field. And the idea is she would use her phone for most of this activity. Well, last week, and this is the big takeaway that the reason I came on today, because I felt like this was something that we could all use. And if you're having trouble with this, maybe you need a coach and you need to look and say, what should I do? Well, this person at the end of the week, the goal was, I want you to create your presentation. She was going to put her slides together, put a presentation together, and record herself doing that, and then send me a copy. And she came on today and she said, I didn't do it. I didn't get it done. And instead of going to the next step, which was we were going to create her YouTube channel and get her going with that, I said, great. So we're going to videotape you today. And I could tell she was at first, there's a little like, oh crap. I wasn't expecting that. I was just going to, come in here, learn that next step and go on. Well, I think part of being a coach is also holding that person that you're coaching accountable. You see, years ago, I used to be in the golf business and I loved to coach and I taught people, and I had a program that was like that. It was customized for each person. And we never went to the next step until that person got the step before. And I could boast and say, my clients, my customers, if you will, they had 100% success because I wouldn't let them go to the next level. And at the same time, until they were ready, at the same time, if our agreed period came up, and they hadn't reached their point where we said, hey, we both agreed if you do this and I do this, at the end of this period, you'll be this type of golfer. Well, so they didn't reach that and they had done that, then I would continue to work with them on my dime. The good thing is, over the period of time, many years, I didn't have to do that very often. It was rare because once that I could get people to do the drills and make those changes, the outcome was pretty much given. Well, in this case, if I would have let my student, my coaching student slide today, I think the word is enabling them. I was enabling them. And so I said, we're going to videotape this today. So what I did is we went through a process and I explained to her, which I think is pretty valuable, a simple 5-step process. Now, here's the thing. I didn't want her to be me. You see, I would kind of load her lips and say, this is what I'm thinking, but I don't want you to say it as me. I just want you to understand there's 5 steps to this. Now, if you're watching this and you make video content and you don't do these 5 steps, I'm not saying you do it wrong. I'm just saying our attention span is so short nowadays that if you don't do something right up front to get someone's attention, the chances of anybody watching the rest of your content, which may be super valuable, is really, really low. So what did I say? Well, this is what I did. I said, the first thing we want to do is we want to create a hook. She wasn't sure exactly what the hook was. So I said, well, a hook is a question that will get people to stop scrolling, but not just anybody, your ideal audience. Now, let's take this back. She was a real estate agent, or she is a real estate agent, and she works up in the Silicon Valley in Northern California. And I said, so we want to create a hook around that. And I gave her an example. She said, okay, I get that. And we came up with this one, or she came up with this one about Zillow. People who scroll and watch on Zillow, it's almost like a drug. You know, they open up their app in the morning and they're thinking about buying a house, and they're on Zillow for like 2 hours. And next thing you know, it's 2 hours later and they've got to go to work, and they really aren't spending any time on buying a house. They're really what we call, they are addicted to Zillow, and they're taking it right in the main vein, and they can't break that habit. So we use that as a hook. So the first thing is a hook. It's something that's specific, using the language of your ideal customer, not of the industry. See, that's a real key point. If you miss that, write it down. You're using the language of your customer or your audience, not the language of your industry. You see, if you use the language of your industry, that immediately could be a disconnect, because as soon as the mind says, huh, what did they say? What does that mean? What is it? We've lost them. And now they've got to play catch up. But if we make things really, really simple, and it's on using their language, their terminology, then the communication is really good. It starts out really high. So she did that. So that was step one. The second step is, I said, now you can introduce yourself. Now, many times when people make videos, stop me if I'm wrong, this is what happens. Camera comes on. Hi, my name is Jeff Harris. I'm with Swing Point Media. We make content for local businesses. Well, you know, by this time, that person's gone because they don't care. And as I explained to her, I said, it's about what is in it for them, not what's in for me. And so we have to make sure to understand, not only as a coach, but when you're trying to attract people with your message, is you want to put out information that is valuable to the person attending. Just like our conversation here. I don't even think I've said my name once. Yes, it's on the screen, but that's not important. You came here to find out, hey, should I have a coach? And why should I have a coach? Well, the first thing is, this gal, I had to hold her accountable. She didn't get her homework done, and yet she wanted to be successful doing this. Well, the only way to do it, gang, is reps. I don't care how many times you buy a membership to a gym. If you don't get out on the floor and start doing setups, you'll never have abs. You'll have a belly. You will not have abs. So the reps are what makes you better. Now, could you be wrong? Or excuse me, could you do it incorrectly? Could you say too many things or not enough? Absolutely. But the point is, it's like the edge of a knife. You need that resistance to put an edge on that knife to make it sharp. So I said, here's the deal. When we start, it's not going to be a take one, take two. I said, no. I said, you're going to start. And if you stumble, wherever you stumbled, you're going to go back and you're going to pick it up from there. So the first step was create a hook. The second step, introduce yourself. The introduction is like this. Hey, my name is Jeff Harrison. And today I really want to go through the 3 reasons why. You see, it's just really short. And I'm going right back into, this is what I'm here and this is what you're going to get. The third step, you might want to write this down. The third step is simply, we're going to stir the pot a little bit. And as I told her, it's kind of massaging the pain of your ideal audience. In her case, her ideal audience are people in the Silicon Valley who are very busy, very high paid, and they want to buy a house, but they just don't have the time. So we want to remind them, the time they spend on Zillow, they are only pushing their dream further and further away. So you want to reiterate that by saying, so here's the hook. I say the hook. I introduce myself. And now let's get back to this. But before I do, I just want to remind you, when someone is addicted, they don't realize they're addicted, and they need that shot of dopamine. So that's why every morning when you get up, or every evening when you come home, what do? You open that Zillow apps and you have to take a hit. Well, today we're going to break that habit. Now, see, I've done that stirring the pot, and I put it in their language. Hey, you've worked all day. You now come home. This is what happened. So now it's hook, introduction, stirring the pot or massaging the pain. And the next one is now deliver on the content that you promised. So if I say, hey, should I have a coach? The answer is maybe. It depends. Are you a self-starter? Are you someone who writes down a goal and gets it done? Probably don't need a coach. But if you're someone who has those distractions, almost like my customers who are busy and they can easily get distracted on Zillow or Facebook or Instagram, whatever that may be, you may need a coach, because your coach should hold you accountable. Hey, this is what you're going to do. How are you going to do it? So this is what I did. I want to share this with you. I'm going to share this screen. I'm going to pull it up here. So this is what I did. I don't think you'll be able to hear this, but what I did is I pulled out my phone and I thought, hey, this is a moment that I could use for content for myself. Because this is one of those things I was trying to prove her point. She says, how do I don't seem to have time. This was another one of her issues, is I don't seem to have time to create content. I said, content is all around us. And I said, what we have to get used to doing is seeing where it's a content and it puts a trigger in our mind, because, and then take action right now. If I see something that makes me think of, oh, that would make a great video, and I just say, oh, I'll get to it later, guess what? Later comes and goes, and we never, ever actually make that video. It's very rare. And plus it won't be as good because you're dealing with spontaneity at that point. So I said, what I want you to do is I want you to take out your phone, just like I did in the video you're noticing on the screen. And I did a little message on there. I have about a 4-minute video about explaining about this. But the idea was, I said, listen, you've got this 5-step down now. And we kind of did a little role playing before. And I said, okay, here's what we're going to do is I'm going to hit a 30-second countdown. And now what you're going to do is maybe you can hear that. So now she gets into it. You can't hear her, but she gets into it and she is discussing that hook. She's going through the hook and she's talking about it being Zillow is like a drug. Then she's going to introduce herself. Then she's going to agitate a little bit. And then she is going to give the message. And the last thing, she's going to give the solution. And the last thing is what? Call to action. Tell the people what you want to do. In this case, I said, what if we just said, hey, my calendar is in my bio. If you're ready to get off off of Zillow and get with somebody who knows how to help you break that habit, I'm a professional buyer's agent. I can save you time, money, and reduce the stress. And I will be the one out there finding your dream home. So now when we go out, I can take you right to the home you're looking for. In the bio is my calendar. Just click on there, choose a time that's good for you, and we'll get together. I'll see you next time. My name is, and then she puts her name on there, Aja Halliday. And bang, she's done. Well, why did I make her do this? Because just like when you go to the gym and you have someone that's a trainer and makes you do the work, yes, you wake up sore, but they encourage you, they support you. And then what happens is her confidence went up. As I watched her take this journey, we're together for an hour. As I watched her take this journey, her confidence kept getting better and better. But here's another thing that was really cool. Her creativity got better. She said, geez, Jeff, you're really good at this. I probably over the course of my career, both as a golf professional and as a digital marketing agency and content creator, I probably made over maybe 13 to 15,000 videos. I've done this a lot. So as a good friend of mine, Leslie, will tell you, I'm very glib. I can pull this stuff out like a rabbit out of my hat, and it comes out pretty well. She was getting better at that right before my eyes. I was so proud of her. So now at the end of this coaching call, during this coaching call, I could have done one of two things. I could have beat her up, and a coach can do that, can beat you up for not getting this done. Or we can say, No problem. Let's do this together. And I like the idea of let's do this together because eventually she won't need me. And that's the goal. Again, going back when I was teaching golf for a living, I'm going to take this off the screen. Back when I was teaching golf for a living, my goal was to make you independent of me, not dependent on me. And the reason I told people that, I said, because here's what's going to happen. You're going to go out on the golf course, and when you have challenges, you need to know how to get back on track because I won't be there. But when you're standing on the teaching tee with me, I can help you, and I'm not a Band-Aid. What I'm doing is I can teach you to understand why the ball did this, but more importantly, how to make it do what you want, whether that's content, direction, distance, all those things. I said, I want you to be dependent of me. And that's where somebody comes from being, hey, I'm just a student and I'll always be a student, to I became a master of my craft for my student. So today, should I have a coach? And why should I have a coach? Should I have a coach is, again, if you're a self-starter, chances are you probably don't need one. You could. Why would you get a coach if you're a real self-starter go-getter? Maybe to set bigger goals and to make you realize there are so many things you can achieve that maybe are beyond what you anticipated. And why should I have a coach? It could be like this gal, doing things that are brand new to her. See, she's never done any of this. She's never done any videos, never done any YouTube, none of that stuff. So it's all brand new to her. And while we were both in a class about personal branding, I was getting it. We do this all the time. I do it for myself, do it for my customers. So this is nothing new. But for her, it was brand new. So why should I have a coach? Because now I can give her one-on-one. We were in about, I think there were about 60 people in the group. She couldn't get the one-on-one. She was taking notes furiously, I'm sure, just as all of us were. But the point is why should I have a coach? To help you understand, adopt, and move this along much, much faster. I feel like if I have a coach, and I have a coach, I meet with her once a month, and I bring my challenges to her, and every once in a while I'll send an email and we'll go back and forth because I need a little nudging. Sometimes I get caught up in my own stuff and I think, oh, I can't do that. That's not me. Whatever. And she reminds me, Jeff, you can do whatever you want to do. This was not about should I, me trying to convince you to be my, let me be your coach. That's not the goal. The goal is, should I have a coach? Would it help me reach my goal faster? Chances are it would. I hope you found this valuable. If you did, I'd love for you to just put a comment. Just put in the comments whenever you're watching this, whether it's on LinkedIn or it's on my YouTube channel. Just put valuable. I love that. I really appreciate it. Please subscribe to my channels. And again, my name is Jeff Harrison with a company called Swing Point Media. We are a digital marketing agency, and we focus on making organic content. In other words, not paid, organic content that attract your ideal customer. Thanks for joining me. Have a great afternoon.